Love you.
Love you too. I'll always be here for you.
So you got into Sundance with this movie, and you showed it there, and you had this sort of amazing reception. And Netflix eventually picked up the movie. But tell me about that experience of showing it for the first time to a big audience. And there must have been other interests. There must have been a lot of people who wanted to. Why Netflix? Answer all of those questions.
Totally. Sure. Yeah, I mean, Sundance was so surreal. I think after 8 years, and it's a tough journey, and you go through so much, and you don't know if the film will get into any festival. The morning I got that email, I just like fell on the floor and cried, and it was such a relief that it was going to be somewhere really special in the world and where we'd always hoped. And then that screening was just so powerful. It was like 5 standing ovations and just so much laughter and joy and energy. And, when you watch an edit, we've been working on the edit for 3 years, off and on with completing the filming. So finally being able to share it and feel the level of emotion I was not prepared for. It was so beautiful.
Yes. Well, when I received the call from Sundance, I actually was in LA. And I'm from Richmond, Virginia. I had a field trip for a week with girls from Richmond, Virginia. And I screamed, and they screamed too. And they were like, what are we screaming about? And then when I told them, they were like, yes, and they screamed. And then they said, okay, we hear you with children. They can't say anything. And I'm like, it is a secret. You can't tell your parents anything. But they were so supportive. And these young girls actually helped rally fundraisers for us to make sure that the families were able to join us at Sundance, which was, to me, really impactful. And it just showed how young girls can continue to create the change that they want to see. And so then we won Sundance. Both of us was just speechless. All I did was
This is the audience award,
yes,
right?
audience
And the festival favorite.
Festival favorite. And so all I could do is really apologize to my husband for avoiding him for a couple of months. So that was how I kind of responded, but definitely excited. And then to answer the question about Netflix, I feel like the approach that was made, making sure that Natalie and I felt comfortable asking us and not telling us, and making sure that they understood that we wanted to continue to align with the focus of the girls and not make a lot of changes to the film. They heard us, and they have been nothing but amazing partners, and I appreciate it.
So did you do some editing after Sundance? Did you, trim it a bit, or?
Yes, very little. It's really the same story, but yeah, little trimming and pacing.
Yeah, it was nice to have the opportunity to sort of, when you're in the Sundance push, you get in, and then you have like a month to finish, lock the edit, do all the sound, score, and everything. So it was nice to have the opportunity to really just take our time then, take a step back. We'd seen it with some audiences, and we didn't touch the edit too much, a couple of things, but then just having the time to really keep elevating the sound design. Kelsey Lou wanted to do some work on her score. So it was really nice just to be able to have that time to craft and perfect some of the stuff that we wanted to do. Yeah.
So this took 8 years to do. So why is that? Explain it to me, and then explain how it all started with your TED Talk.
Well, Natalie actually saw the TED Talk, and I would say the first 2 years really focused on us building a relationship. So I have had other filmmakers reached out to me after seeing the TED Talk, but I really was not interested in working with them because they were interested in a jail story, and I was interested in a love story because I understood that this was a story that could not be touched by everyone, but I'm very sensitive around and protective of Black storytelling. Even in my TED Talk, I wanted to make sure when I told that story that I was not dehumanizing, and I'm more celebrating, and I'm showing you the power that young people have, especially if you take time to listen to them and hear them. I wanted to make sure if this was going to be on a screen, and I was able to show that, it needed to be exactly what I experience every day. And so fortunately, Natalie's email to me centered the girls. And I was like, somebody finally got it. And then she came to Richmond, Virginia to get to learn not only about me, but about the organization, interviewed past participants, and really her tenacity kept it going for 8 years.
What were some of the obstacles?
Yeah, I guess the first few years we were filming previous families that had gone through the program and the sheriff, but then we actually couldn't get access to film the dance. And that particular dance got put on hold because there was a changeover in staff and a new sheriff. So it did take a few years for us to get access to film the actual program and go inside. But it was kind of a silver lining because the program grew to Washington, D.C., and Angela was asked by Clinique Chapman there to bring the program. And they said yes very quickly as soon as we came together and explained that we wanted to film the fathers, all the therapy circles, have access to everything. It was quite amazing that they finally said yes. So it was like a long wait and then a green light. Getting to know all the girls, that was, the most special part, really connecting with the moms and the daughters. But then after 2019, the world changes. We go through COVID. We have the Black Lives Matter movement. We have so many things that keeping this little film going through, we really didn't expect to come at us. So creatively, emotionally, financially, it was the hardest thing I've ever done, and create a lot of life force to keep it going. But every year, because Angela and I can wear many hats together, be it directors, producers, raising money, all those kinds of things, we were able to just keep it going and then finally get to the point where we're finished.
So how many girls were you following? I mean, I wondered if it was whittled down to the 4 that you finally focused on, like you covered more.
Initially, we had about 6. Initially, we talked to all the fathers and we spoke with all the mothers. And Angela, does her work really with the family. So it's part the program and part also capturing things with me. We had 6 that felt really comfortable and wanted to be part of the film. And then a couple of the fathers got sent to different facilities so they could no longer be at the dance. And so the 4 that we were working with going into the dance were always the 4, and then they stayed with us for years to come. And that was really beautiful that they were this wonderful span of ages, 5, 10, 11, 15, and really different girls, really different relationships with their father. So we kept in all 4 and didn't want to narrow it down to just 1 or 2 of them.
So you call the film Daughters for a reason. Explain that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Angela and I have always been passionate that this was a young girl's story, and that this was all about the wisdom that these young girls had to know what they needed to say, I want to have a dance with my father in this jail. It's so profound. And so this was really about their internal world, their experience, the power that they have to make change in the world. So we really wanted to center the girls.
But could you give us a little more information about the sort of origin story of who first came up with this idea?
Absolutely. So at Girls for a Change, as you probably learned a little bit about in the film, we have a program called Girl Action Team, and it allows girls to think about issues in their community, and we give them the tools to be their own superheroes, right? How do you want to make this change? That you tackle this issue, you come up with the root causes, and you create solutions. And so this particular Girl Action Team wanted to change the narrative of Black men in their lives, whether it was their fathers, grandfathers, brothers. They really just didn't like the messages that they heard about Black men not showing up. And it originally started with a dance in a community that would happen during Women's History Month. The girls created a different approach of a father-daughter dance. And as they were planning this dance, they discovered that one of their peers could not attend because her father was incarcerated. And the girls had a big problem with that. At first, they actually was like, he can come for the day. We're going to get him out. They had all of these crazy imaginations that girls would have that I love because they do not think about the risk. They definitely don't get in their way. And when the girls discovered that there was other ways to approach social justice, they decided to write a letter to the sheriff. And Sheriff C.T. Woody, at that time, he was the sheriff of the Richmond Justice Center, invited the girls to meet with him. And from this meeting, he told them, as I said in the film, no one has ever approached me about something this amazing. And I do know, though, that when families stay connected to their loved ones during their time, that it keeps them hopeful, they thrive, and most likely they would not return. So this is a great way to start.
You are first-time filmmakers, both of you. I mean, this is also impressive on that level because you were learning as you went along. You had to figure it out. So how did you help each other? How did you support each other? How did you keep everything going?
Well, I know for me, I am always willing to be coachable. That is something that I also try to work with young girls, always be willing to learn. So when Natalie approached me about being the co-director of a film, I know that I'm a storyteller because I have a TED Talk. I'm always telling stories to young people, always on panels, always writing. I'm an author of a book. So I was like, this is just another way to get this story out. But the power of doing it through a film, I understood that this message could be broader. And so I took a chance on myself and Natalie and the girls as well. And so I was just open-minded and really just took a back seat with some things where there are other things that I was like, no, I want to lead here, just as Natalie was able to trust what type of cameras she needed to bring in because I was clear that it would happen. So we both, I believe, had to take risk and we both had to understand where our strengths were, right? And what we can contribute to making such a beautiful film.
And you did find financing, obviously. So tell that it took a village. It looks like you had to go into a lot of places.
It was beautiful. I mean, we had different people over the years, so much passion around the film, and different people come on and money support, crew, gear, that kind of thing. So we always found people, but it's not always the same people that can do it or work for free or help you for 8 years. And so over the years, there's been multiple teams of people that have come on and worked with us. Yep.
That's excellent. Thank you. Thank you very
you for
much.
having
Thank you
us.
for making this
Thank you
film.
Thanks for coming on a Sunday, everyone.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you so much.